in there, right? A little bit of time. Get that adjusted. I think that's going to look pretty good. We'll zoom it in and maybe kick it up a little bit. Probably be a good idea. Just get a little better view. There we go. And if I can kind of keep that chicken center from somewhere in this area right here, the center of the camera, just so I know, that's the important part. Just so I know, if I know I'm keeping where you can see it, and I think that's important. I'm assuming. Okay. All right. So, first things first, big drink of my coffee. I don't know why, I was pretty tired today. And I think I know. It finally hit me. I never drank coffee all day, and I usually drink like a big thing of coffee. And for whatever reason, today I didn't drink any. And about 6:30 or so, man, I got to feeling like a, pretty, no energy, I'm pretty tired right after we ate. And dawned on me here about 8:30. Heck, I never ate anything. Anyway, or drank any coffee, so we got to fix that. Hey, Plywood. Hey, Billy. What's going on? Okay, we're going to start out today with making Jake a baby. And he is not happy about this. He doesn't want any kids. I told him too bad. He's going to get them whether he wants them or not. Yeah, it sure seems like I'm missing some birds. I don't know. Okay, let me turn the fan on. Get this dust collection going. Let's see if we can't cut this one down first. Then my kids got me these pins that look like fish lures. And I like these, they're pretty nice. I've always liked fishing for saw guys, and I like using Smithwick's. You can't hardly buy that same Smithwick lure anymore, but that pin kind of reminds me of it. I think it's pretty cool. And actually, it reminded my kids of it. That's why they thought to get it. So let's make, what we're making here, we're making Jake the baby. It's a bad idea. I don't know that he'd be a good father, especially considering he's negative all the time and he's never happy. But we're going to try to brighten him up. He didn't want it, but that's just the way it is. He's going to get it. We're going to carve a little bear, and that's just going to be the way it is. I'm using a KUTZALL flamer burr. That's there, give you a pretty close view of what that looks like. Y'all be sure and hit the like button. Hey, Woodchucker, what's going on, buddy? Ray and Sandy's Woodworking, hello. Be sure y'all hit the like button. I will get started on this thing. I appreciate it. So right off the bat, I'm going to dig this thing down here right here. And I don't know how long this will take, but it's awesome. I got his shoulders drawn on there, but I've concluded that I just give my bearers too much neck. And it's like they really don't even have a neck. It's just like it goes right from head to shoulders. And so with this guy, I'm going to cut it down to about here, and then we'll worry about putting all them arms on afterwards. But this is a pretty big section of wood that's got to be removed, so I'm going to work on it. I mean, I still got a basic head shape out of that with just that there. All right, y'all be sure to hit the like button and we'll keep right on going. See if we can get 100 likes today. I'm pretty good. pretty well going. It's going pretty good. Y'all be sure to hit the like button. I'm gonna trim these ears up next. Curl them out, make them look pretty good. You can already tell what you're seeing. You know, that always is a plus, isn't it? All right, guys, hit the like button. We'll keep right on going making this cute little guy. He said I'm having a good time with it. Part is trying to make the other side look the same or similar. That said, that's what we're going to work on. But anyway, y'all hit the like button. We'll keep right on rocking with this little guy. He's so cute. He's going to be. Why does this Jake like? Jake is proved to be kind of a pain. You know, he's supposed to be comfort farming. And then he turned out to be quite the jerk of a bear, you know. He's not bear as good as Scratchy. This is poplar, and this stuff just carves really, really nice. And digging the legs down. This is some of the poplar. Actually, the crane that I carved yesterday was out of the same stuff that Big Mex gave to Cat's Piece, and Cat's Piece gave to me. And I cut off some little blocks. And actually, I got another block around here somewhere. Where's it at? This wouldn't be bad knife carving wood either. It's just little poplar blocks. I cut them down into these sizes here. But anyway, it's pretty fun stuff. And y'all hit the like button. I will keep right on rocking. Hey, baby kisses, DeLand, Billy Shoemate, Plywood. What's going on? Glad to see you. Hey, being crazy, Miss Francis. Glad to see you in there. All right, keep right on going. Guy. Right now he's got black feet. You know, kind of looks like what I can't remember that guy's name. Ended up with Jimmy Hoffa. Yeah, he probably ended up with concrete feet. You know. Hey, I'm gonna take a drink of my coffee real quick, and I gotta take his mask off to do it. So that said, the suppression is doing all right. I'm throwing dust everywhere. Look at that, ain't that great? Okay, y'all hit the like and I'll keep her rocking. Let's give this guy some feet. I can start working in some more detail. This little guy's looking pretty cute. I mean, it's not too bad, not too good. Somewhere in the middle. I got this dude over here that we can do too. Here's our Professor Rusty from last Sunday. And it come out pretty good. Not too bad. Not too bad, not too good. He didn't call me and tell me that I copied his likeness, so it must not be that good, you know what I mean? Anyway, that's the burr we've been using right there. KUTZALL Extreme Flame Burr. I am not an affiliate. You can get these through Rhinestone Suzanne Henderson Art, or you can also get them through Wowie's Workshop. So help them out, support their channels. Okay. something flying around in here getting me from time to time. I don't know what it is, but that's it. He's looking pretty good. I mean, zoom him in there. I wonder if I could zoom in a little more on that area. Then the trick is just trying to keep it in that area for me. But that's it. I'll keep right on going with it. But he's looking pretty good. Not too bad, not too good. I mean, you see the depth of the ears, you know, and I need to dig the eye out area just a little bit more. Heck yeah. Hey, Creation Does 777, the best chainsaw carver in the world. If you have not checked him out, you are missing out. Hi, Maria. How's it going? Raja Vindigo Hana. Glad to see you in there, buddy. Okay. Let's keep right on going with this one, guys. he's got just the right amount of walk factor at the same time, but he's super cute little guy. So let's go ahead and give him some eyes, and we'll give him some little fine details. I don't know about hair. I may try to scratch him. I'm not really sure. But you gotta have eyes. You can't get through life without eyes. Let's see. Trying to pull out the man paw a bit and see what we can do. Take that mask off for a second. I need to breathe. And you can see that little man paw eye cutter. We're gonna take that piece and just cut it right in there as best we can. Anyway, dig it back in there. That is the plan. Stand. All right. Take this piece out. But heck yeah, glad to see y'all in there. Hey John, hope you're doing pretty good. Hey Smallwood Lot, what's going on, man? Glad to see you. It's not too bad for an hour's work, you know. I'm planning on doing that fish as of right now, but I guess we'll see. Probably looks pretty good. Yeah, his little guy. Clean the eyes up, clean that little bit of burn off the face real quick, so he doesn't look like he's got an eye infection. We probably ought to do that. I mean, he might have an eye infection. I don't know. I mean, I haven't talked to him. Yeah, considering he's just born, that'd really be horrible if he had an eye infection. At least I think. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, he's a friendly little guy. Unlike his dad, you guys will get to meet his dad, and you'll say, man, why did that guy ever carve that guy? Why didn't he just burn it? You know, sometimes I wonder myself. And when he gets out of line, he ain't got a mouth, so I can't really, like, he says something bad, I can't wash his mouth down with soap, so I just stick the whole thing in soap. Stick the whole bear in there, you know, or stick the whole bear in the water. That's what I do. He does not like it at all. You see the thumbnail for this video, then you'd have an idea who Jake is, and you'd probably laugh. I think he's looking pretty cute. Hello, everybody. I am a piece of wood. All right, yeah, we all know that. I think this little guy, he's pretty much seen what he's gonna see. He's pretty cool. I might burn him a little bit and then clear coat him, but that's gonna be Jake's little baby. And we'll have to come up with a name for him. Kind of is what it is, you know. But he's super cute. That said, I think I'm gonna start on this. We're just now at 10 o'clock, and I don't have to finish it, but I just kind of like to start on it anyway. See how it goes. Maybe we'll use that and enter it into the Possum 350 Legend fish challenge that he's got going. Let's see what we got. I was planned on cleaning that up, and I never did. Let me go ahead and do that real quick before I move to this fish. That definitely looks a lot better. This cute little guy. Not too bad, not too good. Hello everybody, welcome to my new life. I'm glad to be here. Hope that everybody can vote for me when I run for Congress. Oh, don't even be talking that way. We'll burn you up right now. Okay. Yeah, I slipped my flip-flop off. Let's do this fish. And it's already peeled. If you look at that, that's real important with this cottonwood bark. Peel that piece off. Already done. It's gone. So we'll carve this fish. I'm just drinking more of my coffee. Good morning to you guys on the other side of the world. I'm right with you, drinking the coffee. Okay, let's do it. That's my first and last coffee for today. Something about drinking coffee at 10 o'clock at night just don't seem right. It don't seem wrong either. You know, we ain't judging. Oh no, I want the flavor burr. The flavor burr really gets in there and gets it done. Okay, let me check my location again. I need to keep it right in. Okay, I got it. I just had to refresh my memory on that. nice when you're cutting in the cutting into this cottonwood bark with this KUTZALL burr, this extreme flamer burr. It's like using, I mean, it's like you're cutting butter, you know. And I mean, imagine what it's like in a quarter. That's an eighth. I got a quarter out there, and a quarter, that type of flamer burr is so much bigger than this one here. How much material it'll remove, and in a hillbilly's heartbeat, buddy. Let me tell you, it's gone. Okay. Crank this baby up. Work on some more. But this fish ought to take half the time at that bear tip, if that. I don't know. I want to see if that's thunder or fireworks. I don't know. Hold on just a second. Probably have to put my glasses on. I think it's fireworks. I think. Oh well, we'll keep on going. Sorry for the scare. Hey, 221 likes. Can't beat that. Heck yeah. All right. fit. And I'll tell you, I don't know. I'm kind of torn on this here. I could try to put little scale marks in there, but instead I went and did these scratches both ways. And it don't look bad, but I just don't know about it. You know what I mean? If I'm going to leave it that way or not, I don't know. But I'm going to go ahead and put the eye in before I do the, go to the smaller burr and try to get some more detail in there. But that's it. It's kind of cute. Don't take that long, you know. Somebody'd be happy to have it, you know. Especially if you gave this to a kid. You know, they'd be amazed at it and really like it. Easy enough, right? Change out to the pointy burr. Give it some mouth detail and stuff right around in there. Let's see, I don't feel right. Nope, it ain't. It was wobbling. I don't know if you can see that, but it's definitely crooked. We're gonna fix it. Ain't got no choice. It'd be just tearing that thing to pieces, honestly. Oh yeah, that's good. has this squiggly line in its scales. It goes kind of like that, you know? And it's probably not the right way to do it, but it's the way I generally do it. And that's I just scratch it in. Because if you're just carving, you're not going to paint it. And that's in the scales. That's part of the camouflage color of the fish itself. You're not going to see it. So I'm going to go through and just kind of scratch that on there. In the right light, you can see it. And it makes it look more like a bass, that scratch. Even though that scratch is digging into the carving, it just makes it look more like a bass. Has that color there. It's camouflage that's built into it. And it might get a little more stringy out through there, but I'm going to leave it like it is. I think that come out pretty cool. I'm going to sign this real quick. That one. We kind of recap what we got. We got the new baby bear that this is going to be the son of Jake. And let me get Jake real quick. For those of you who don't know who Jake is, let me show you. Jake is highly upset about this. He didn't want a kid. He didn't want a kid at all. And I mean, I get it, you know, but you know, I guess his wife wasn't on birth control. I don't know. This is Jake. All right, Jake. Jake, we want to introduce you to your new baby son, daughter. We haven't figured it out. We have to flip it over to find out. But nice to meet you. Hello, Daddy. Hello, son. Can I have a huggy? No, go to your room. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Hey, had a good time. Oh, I'll give you a hug, I guess. Okay. All right. Anyway, that's what we got. Son of Jake. We're gonna have to burn him, give him a little bit of crispiness, and kind of match him. You know, he's newborn, so he hasn't pigmentated yet. You know, but that's it. You know, pretty good friends going on here. You know, I mean, I do not like him at all. Okay, see why I don't bring Jake on the line? You know what I mean? I've tried to tell you guys. Jake is supposed to be a comfort carving. And I'm telling you, he is the discomfort carving. He is the biggest jerk of a carving you've ever met. You better bet you, folks. Anyway, you see what I'm saying? He's a jerk. I don't know. But what do you think about that, Jake? Are you happy? See what I mean? He's not happy. He didn't want a kid. Did you want a kid? See what I mean? Well, you got one. I don't know what to tell you. There he is. Daddy, don't you love me? No. Man, this is going to be rough. I don't know. What a rough relationship. That said, that guy came out fantastic. And let me ask you guys. Now, Josh probably went to bed by now. But let me ask you guys. Does he look kind of familiar? So I was watching Josh today. And this is kind of, maybe not so much in the head, but the body shape and stuff. Just trying to, you know, make a shape. A little bit kind of like how he did that the last bear he did today. Now my heads, I got my own style about how I do my cheeks and all that stuff, but it's not far off really. I mean, like putting the groove in the center there, that kind of stuff. I honestly learned all that from him. I'll be the first one to tell you. Hey, Woodchucker, baby kisses. John, what's going on? Beating Crazy Custom Creations, Miss Francis, what do you know? Anyway, that's what we got. He's a cute little guy. You know, his father, you gonna take care of him? No. Well, does that mean I have to? I guess you made him. You see what I'm saying? Does that make you a deadbeat dad? Yeah, he don't even care. I mean, what kind of parents is that? You know, I mean, we get enough of these, we'll have our own TV sitcom, you know. Now we got to build him a wife. No, I don't want a wife. Why not? I don't want a wife. See what I mean? He's not friendly. This is the absolute worst comfort carving ever. Oh, well, I should just throw him in a pool and let him float around. Okay, anyhow, got the little bass. He come out pretty good. Not too good, not too bad. Somewhere in the middle. I'm happy with it. I'll clear coat it, drill a hole in the back of it. And maybe we'll put that in the Possum 350 Legend Fish Challenge. I think it got up to September to do an entry for it. But it come out pretty good. I can't complain about that. Okay, I'm going to pull this phone out of here real quick. We got our heron sitting up here. And I thought I'd paint him, but there ain't no way now. We've been on here for an hour and a half. I think that's funny. Not too bad, not too good. Here's what we're talking about if you hadn't seen the heron yet. That's carving we did last night. Made that thing, and it's kind of big for this kind of work area. Am I zoomed out all the way? Yeah. So it's kind of tough. And Creation Dust was telling me, we've seen your head quite a bit. And I'm like, yeah, I know. It's just hard to fit that into this kind of workspace. And I still got Rusty sitting there here. But we took a lot of stuff to the place we sell this stuff, Appalachian Art and Craft in Rockbridge, Ohio. We took a whole bunch of stuff there today just because it was really, really bare. But just looking through there, hey, I appreciate that, Baby Kisses. Yeah, illegitimate polar bear, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, if you look at him, I mean, they don't look related, that's for sure. I mean, but we'll fix that. We'll burn him. I'll have a torch out tomorrow. We'll make a match. You know what I mean? Stan, something like this, don't get me wrong. I probably wouldn't even jack with mail and something like this. But this little piece, like, I don't, $20. You know, I'm not trying to get rich off this stuff. I just enjoy doing it. And, yeah. And if you're interested in it, you can always email me in my, it's in my description, or not in my description, but it's in my, whatever you call it. I don't know. Anyway, you'd figure it out. If you look, you'll find my email. Anyhow, but yeah, that's about it. $20. I mean, I don't care. I don't care if I sell it or not. You know, that kind of stuff too. Hey, Big Mex, I appreciate that. So if you caught that, this is the wood that came from you. The cat. I made a couple little blocks, and this wouldn't have been bad knife carving wood, either poplar, not too bad. And that's a piece of it there. That's poplar. I made it. That was a piece that came from you that I made out of that as well. But that's what I got. Ghost bear, yeah. I put a little sheet over him around him, and he can go boo, and then it popped the sheet off, and you see it's Mr. Bear. Yeah, he's awful white. Yeah, or tissue. Put a tissue on him. Yeah, that'll work out pretty good. I don't know about all that. All right, guys, that's what I got. I appreciate y'all being here. We will be back tomorrow night, either 8:30 or 9. I don't know what we're gonna do, but you'll know it ahead. You might even get to pick it. Last week we let you guys pick it. Michael S. is the one that came up with this idea. Try to make it a rendition of Mr. Rusty, Professor Rusty, his hat, and I just decided, well, I'll make something similar, as close as I could get it to his logo, and it didn't come out bad at all. It didn't come out great, but it came out pretty cool, I think, you know. And I struggled with that one. I really did struggle, especially the eyes, and trying to get the goggles. They're not eyes, they're goggles, but trying to get those goggles right. First they made them too small, and then, you know, just whatever. You just had to deal with it. But it was a fun piece to make. Yeah. I appreciate that, Baby Kisses. It was tough. This one, Miss Francis said the same thing. This one fought back. It was tough to get, but I got it. And anyway, that's all I got. Hope to catch y'all tomorrow. Appreciate you guys being here, and we'll catch you on another live maybe in the meantime. Come back when you can stay.